Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's Wednesday, April 10th, 2019. It's time for episode number 26 of the News Freeze. I'm Eddie.
And I am Terry.
And we're ready to rock.
Ready to rock. And just as promised and advertised last week, we are back for a second consecutive Wednesday.
Look at that. I mean, this is what we do now.
Yeah.
We are experts.
We're
professionals.
We're not under or over delivering. We are just delivering on time.
Exactly on the mark.
Exactly on the mark.
Solid C.
Solid C. That'll get you far in this world these days.
Yeah.
So Ed, how
days.
we doing here midweek?
Pretty good, man. I got some new glasses.
Oh yeah,
My
they're
arm's
sharp.
Feeling
I didn't
better.
even notice that.
Yeah, nobody has.
They look sharp.
Interestingly.
I never looked at your glasses that much, I guess.
Yeah, I noticed most people don't look me in the eye.
I was always looking at your array of footwear. I guess I was my eyes were always down at the floor when I spoke with you.
No one's noticed yet. Won't they be surprised when they listen to the show?
This is kind of like when a woman gets her hair done and nobody says anything to her for the entire day. It must be deflating.
Well, the difference is the girl gets sad.
Yeah, and Edman didn't.
I just think everyone's like really not observant.
Well, that could be the case too. So again, folks, we are here, April 10th. It's good to be back. Of course, we didn't actually get to a special edition Friday or Monday. We for no real reason either. We just kind of didn't. I think we were going to,
but you know the good thing is that now we shit people out of special editions rather than the regular
shows. Exactly. That does make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're back midweek again. Just a reminder for you, that text line is open. We're fidgeting with some new technology where you can actually possibly call us on the air at one of these junctures.
It's true. We did a test run earlier, and it was glorious.
Yeah, it sounded real good. It sounded very legitimate, like we could have some first-time caller, long-time listener situations.
Yes, all we need now is the know-how of how to get out live and then the nuts to do it.
Yeah, well.
Do we have it to do this live, Tara?
I don't know yet. Although, I mean, I don't see why not, because usually we just do one run and then that's it, unless something malfunctions on
People
us.
calling, bawling us out,
Man, that would be great. Every call, we would go viral like those local TV clips that you'll see once in a while where they keep calling up and saying how bad the guy sucks.
Maybe we can fight with some of the callers.
Well, hey, who knows? But anyways, again, that text line, if you're interested, dropping us a text for now, 904-300-2475. Again, midweek, April 10th, a lot of stuff to cover as usual for us this week. I don't know what's going on with me, Ed. I think maybe I need to get vaccinated. Because I'm feeling like a little bit like I felt a couple weeks ago.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and it's been since the weekend. It's very weird. I feel like just kind of achy, and I've got this like tickle in my throat that won't go away.
You know what it could be?
Yeah. Do I look like I have measles?
You look like you got a little...
Hong Kong flu? SARS? What do I have?
You look like you got a touch of, what's the thing that turns you yellow there? Jaundice.
Oh, my God, I'm jaundiced?
Yeah.
Do I need one of those lamps like the babies have in the hospital?
Vacay and some sun.
Oh,
I think it's possible. Maybe if you use the same toothbrush once you're sick, you get cured. I think you reinfected yourself with your pillow or toothbrush.
Really? That can happen?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I'm throwing everything out. All of it. It's going. So anyways, I'm going to get through this. I'm just going to keep taking this Airborne and this NyQuil and this Dayquil and anything I can find. And maybe I'll go and see about getting vaccinated so I don't get anything worse.
There's a veterinarian clinic
There
next
is,
door.
but the price is right over there. I know that for a fact.
Right.
I know that for a fact. So anyways, our intro today, Ed, you finally got around to watching what we talked about last episode, that Twilight Zone.
I watched the Twilight Zone. I only saw the first episode.
Right.
They probably
so
come
same
out
here. I've still only
now,
seen the first one.
It was really actually pretty good.
Yeah, I told you it was pretty well done. It was the story was pretty good. It made you think. It was pretty entertaining overall and well produced. And now I'm looking forward to seeing what else they have.
A couple things though. Twilight Zone usually figures out a way to make it where if you were in the situation and the characters have you do what you would do in the situation and there's still no answer for what's happening. But in this case, if I was in that situation, okay, so the situation is that the comedian...
Are you going to try to give spoilers if they haven't seen it by now? Screw them or what?
No, I'm not going to give the whole thing away.
All right.
Maybe. Well, I'll give it away in the special edition. So special editions, we give spoilers.
Okay.
But the thing is, if that situation was happening to me, if they couldn't remember his comedy bit,
right,
wouldn't you go, well, hey, what were you guys laughing at?
Yeah, that is true. That is true because again, I had mentioned last episode that the name of that Twilight Zone episode was The Comedian, and it did center around a nightclub comic.
Yeah, and so the guy would give a bit, and then he would have to keep coming up with new bits. They didn't laugh at the old one there, but the thing is, they didn't remember the old bit either, and it just I don't know, that didn't really make sense.
Well, listen, maybe that was a little over analyzation.
Also,
there.
the comedy guy, he was all right.
You mean the main guy? You've never seen him before in other things? I think he's all right. I enjoy him. He's okay. See, he's actually a very funny guy in real life. He's a pretty funny comic. But anyways, you did see that. So again, we talked about this. That is produced by Jordan Peele, and he's kind of in the Rod Serling role in that now.
He did okay in that.
I thought so.
I mean, it wouldn't blow me away down, but it was cool.
It's hard to live up to that original, of course. Well, anyway, speaking of Jordan Peele, we mentioned his movie Us that came out a few weeks ago. Well, I went and saw that the other afternoon.
Oh, really?
I went and saw that earlier maybe this weekend or Monday, sometime around there. And I went and checked out that insanely popular movie. And I'll tell you what, it was wild. It was pretty wild. Yeah. A lot to make you think in that. I mean, definitely a horror type psychological mind warp kind of movie.
What was it exactly?
It's called Us. Without giving away too much, it just centers around this family. This young, it starts with this young girl kind of flashing back to the 80s. She gets lost at the beach at a carnival. And something happens to her in this like haunted house of mirrors, kind of. And then it flashes forward to current day events where she has her family, and then some people come and terrorize this family. Yeah. And then the story goes from there without me giving away too much of what's going on in the movie. But it definitely is worth repeat viewings. I'm sure people have gone and seen this more than one time.
Right.
It's one of those movies that you definitely could sit through again.
I can't do that. When I see a movie in the theater,
yep,
I feel ripped off going the first time.
So you want to wait.
There's no way I'd go again.
I've actually done it with a few movies. I don't do it often, but I mean, this would be one if someone was like, oh, Terry, I haven't seen that Us. Did you want to go? I'd be like, you know what? I already saw it, but I would go again.
I'll wait till it's like $1 or whatever.
Yeah, right. In the bin at Walmart where you got Unbreakable that time.
Right.
But anyways, that was good. If you guys have seen that, let us know what you thought of the movie. You can text us or hit us up the old conventional way. Drop us a message from our website there, thenewsfreaks.com. We are also on Facebook, The News Freaks, and on Twitter at NewsFreaksPod.
You know what we could do? We could record the show at the same time every week, and then callers could reach us knowing that we would actually be doing the show at that time.
Well, I will tell you, we pretty much are within the same frame most every time we record this. It usually goes down at the almost around the midnight-ish time. Like the changeover from the days is usually when we get our shit together and we're ready to go.
And guys, now is the time to get on board with the News Freaks, because when we hit episode number 50, come hell or high water, we're promoting the show. We're taking off like a rocket ship, like a SpaceX rocket ship.
You want to be able to tell your friends, I was there from the beginning. I was there when they were really stumbling and bumbling their way through the airwaves, and now look at them. They're the number one Patreon subscribed podcast in the United States and abroad. I mean, why not?
Why not?
Let's shoot for the stars. So anyways, Ed, I got one update from a story we did a few weeks ago.
I would love to have jackasses from other countries just translating us word for word, all the inflections.
So you're saying like kind of we have the two stand-ins for us. There would be an Edman and a Terry in different countries.
And they call themselves Edman and Terry, but they were just speaking a different language.
I would love that.
Because we're so popular, they wouldn't even deviate from our show's format.
That would be great. That would be great. I would love to see who would play me in Bangladesh. I don't know why. It just seems like it would be great. Anyways, we were talking about an update from a story we covered a couple weeks ago, back to those that college admission scandal that we talked about. I think that was episode 24.
Right.
Well, Monday morning, 13 of those parents involved, including the actress Felicity Huffman, they pled guilty to a conspiracy fraud charge.
Now, one of them didn't. The
Correct.
Full House lady didn't.
She did not. She's digging in her heels for a fight, it seems like.
But now, if you plead guilty, don't you get jail time?
Well, here's what happened, and I was surprised to hear this too. All the parents, the 13 that pled guilty, they're going to get the low end of the sentencing range, which apparently is about $20,000 worth of fines and maybe a year of supervised release. So they won't get jail time, apparently, if they pled guilty. So which lends the next question: why the hell wouldn't you just plead guilty? Because your ego is too big. You don't want to. I mean, you did something wrong ultimately.
Oh yeah, you'd have to plead guilty because you are guilty,
right?
And it's proved. It's shown that you're guilty. What I don't understand though is, shouldn't the amount that they pay be at least equivalent to what they paid to get the daughter in or whatever?
You're right, but I think for in this,
getting off cheap.
I think in this particular case, the Felicity Huffman one, I think she actually paid right around that $15,000 to $20,000 range. I believe. Yeah. I'm not speaking for everyone. Maybe the ones that did pay, upwards of $1 million would have to make more restitution, but I don't know.
Hey, if you were the kid, wouldn't you be like, forget college, just give me the money?
Yeah, right. I could start my empire with
get a car, go drive.
Absolutely. Well, the other 16 parents, as you alluded to, including Lori Loughlin, they did not agree to plead guilty. They were hit with an additional charge yesterday.
What was that?
It was, I believe,
not pleading guilty.
Conspiracy to commit wire fraud, something to that.
Oh my God, they're piling on.
If they go to trial here, they could definitely face jail time. They could look up to 15 or 20 years in jail, as opposed to this 1 year of supervised release.
Man, by the time they get out, their daughter will be old enough for their own college scandal.
Oh my God, I know. So yeah, that was pretty much what we had to catch up on this week. I did go with a big story today, Ed, because there was literally a big story that happened right here in these United States and the world.
It sounds like it's a big deal.
Hit us with the bumper.
I did not expect that.
So nice. He hit it twice.
I did not expect that. It comes so quickly. I should have anticipated.
Oh, man.
We do the same thing every week.
Every week. Well, anyways, Ed, it is time for our big story. And you heard about this. I'm sure everybody in the world, the planet, heard about this. We now have photographic evidence that black holes do exist.
Now, photographic evidence.
Yeah. Did you see the picture?
The photographs. No, I did not.
Oh man, it's floating around all over the interwebs today.
I'm going to look this up while you're talking.
Well, apparently back 2 years ago, this was almost exactly 2 years ago, in April of 2017, scientists used a global network of telescopes to see and actually capture an image of the first ever picture of a black hole. Edman is looking at it right now. Looks very futuristic. It makes me crave a Krispy Kreme donut for some reason. A Krispy Kreme glazed donut.
Yeah,
kind of what it looks like.
Kind of looks like a smear there. I mean, this is the first image of the black hole.
Yeah,
they have waited till we got some better resolution.
Well, Ed, they already waited 2 years. They captured this thing April of 2017, and they just told us about it today.
They should have run it through Photoshop or something, get it a little clearer.
What do you want to put? Little dog ears and a dog nose on it? We'll put a Snapchat filter on that.
Make it more interesting. It just looks like a little dribble.
Well, what did you think it was going to be? It's science.
A really cool looking black hole.
I mean, man, do you know
with
how
stars
hard
getting sucked into it? Well, maybe a spaceship,
Well, the National Science Foundation, they made the announcement this morning that they caught the image in its shadow at the center of a massive galaxy known as M87. It's located about 55 million light years from us here on Earth, Ed. 55 million light years that picture's from. The quality looks a little better to you now, doesn't it? I would guess.
Oh, they colorized it. Hey, this article describes it as looking like the flaming eye of Sauron.
Oh, wow. Now that's exciting. That sounds really exciting.
Now I see it and I am excited after
all. The black hole, it has a mass that's 6.5 billion times that of the sun, which is pretty crazy to think of, too. I mean, this thing is...
Yeah, because the sun's pretty big also.
It is, yeah. Well, the Event Horizon Telescope Collaboration, symbolized EHT, it's the global network of telescopes that captured this photo.
Yeah.
More than 200 researchers, Ed, have worked more than a decade to get this picture. That's what scientists, that's what's so fascinating to me about scientists. I can't even put in the patience and time to build like a 500-piece puzzle.
Yeah.
Let alone spend a decade of my life trying to get a picture of a black hole.
Now, I don't know much about science, but 200 scientists to get this picture.
Yeah.
It sounds like maybe everybody wanted to get in on the payment there.
I have no idea. The project is named after the Event Horizon, which is the proposed boundary around a black hole that represents the point of no return where no light, object, or radiation can ever escape.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. Wasn't there a movie called Event Horizon?
If there wasn't, there really should be.
There should be. It's
Event
a great
Horizon.
It's a
sounds
great
exciting.
name. Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up at some point. Well, anyways, the network of telescopes collected 5,000 trillion bytes of data over
5,000 trillion?
over a 2-week period in
Is
April
that a
of
real
2000.
number? 5,000 trillion.
I shit you not, Ed.
Isn't
It
that
is
a
real
bajillion?
number. I have no idea how many zeros that is. I don't care to know. It was processed through supercomputers so that scientists could see these images.
Is that a quintillion? 5 quintillion?
I really don't know. I need a mathematician, a math expert, which I clearly am not.
Do we know any?
I don't. Do we know anybody that's really good at math? Or I don't know if we do. We do know some scientists, though. Some people who are big into science.
Yeah.
You know,
But not this type of science.
it'd be good. We could have asked her to be on this show. She could have chimed in on this one. Yeah. Anyways, she knows who she is. She's a faithful listener.
Faithful listener.
And she also...
But she might have just made something up, and we would not be any the wiser.
She also has been telling us that the last couple of weeks, Spotify has been dropping the ball on our podcast.
Spotify has its own Event Horizon, which is about 5 minutes in, apparently. Why does it cut our show off?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
Maybe they're waiting. Well, I guess the first time it was only 5 minutes. Last week it was 20 minutes. So I guess as we're getting more listeners and getting rolling more, they're going to give listeners more segments of our show.
Only feeds you the amount of listeners that you have.
Exactly.
For each listener, you get a minute.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah, 20. We're streaming now. Well, look, do you know what a black hole even is, Ed? Did you even know what they are?
It's where life is not able to exist.
Well, NASA has
a Disney black hole definition.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
a
that
movie
is.
called
Okay. NASA has a regular, more user-friendly
Light cannot
definition.
escape. Yeah.
Black holes, they're made up of huge amounts of matter squeezed into a small area that creates a massive gravitational field, which draws in everything around it, including light. It's capable of warping space-time, which sounds really awesome, too.
Yes.
I don't know what that entails. But the material around black holes is heated to billions of degrees, and as we look at that photo right there, that's what gives us that reflection there. That's billions of degrees worth of light heated, and it reaches the speed of light as well as it goes through.
Well, now, black holes are basically massive wells of gravity.
Yeah, and so if anything gets sucked in there, you can't escape that.
What about like a hot air balloon?
You think one could get out that far?
I don't know.
Remember that story a few years ago where the dad said his kid got loose in a hot air balloon?
No.
Yeah, it was great. It was a viral story, and they got interviewed on like CNN or some news story, and he said that he's sitting there. Oh, this was after the kid came back to Earth or was rescued or something, and the kid basically sold his parents out and said, "Oh, you guys told me to stay in the attic while this whole thing was going on." They were trying to, I guess, scam people into thinking that their son had floated away in a hot air balloon.
Cool.
Yeah, you got to look that one up. It was a ridiculously amazing story that obviously had a good ending because the kid wasn't hurt at all. He wasn't in danger at all. But they had fighter jets going up and trying to find this hot air balloon where it went into the atmosphere.
Jeez.
Yeah. So anyways, that's that was years and years ago. I don't remember exactly around the time frame, but this photo also confirms Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity. You remember that, right, Ed?
No.
Yeah, that's where he predicted that dense, compact regions of space could have such intense gravity that nothing could escape them.
Oh, yeah.
And in the case of this black hole, M87's black hole, the heated materials in the form of plasma actually surround the black hole, and that's what gives off the light, making
that's
the
the
event.
plasma.
It is the plasma, Ed, making the event horizon visible. Were you ever a science guy? Were you ever into science growing
I
up?
like science. I like science a lot. I don't know much about science.
Me
because I
neither.
thought comic books were actually based off of real science, but it turns out they're not.
Right.
So my view of science is skewed.
Yeah, I did like it, but I wasn't really interested enough in it to pursue it. I did get most of my childhood science from a guy, you might remember him, Mr. Wizard. You remember him?
Mr. Wizard, yeah, I used to love to use his name when somebody would say something smart, right? Something
You said, "Who are you, Mr. Wizard?"
I'd say, "Thank you,
We
Mr.
got a regular
Wizard."
Mr. Wizard
Yes.
here. Yeah, you could have said we have a regular Don Herbert here as well. That was his real name.
Thank you, Bill Nye, the science guy.
Mr. Wizard was way better than Bill Nye, in my opinion. I enjoyed Don Herbert, aka Mr. Wizard, a lot. He hosted Watch Mr. Wizard in the 50s and 60s. He did this for a long time. Then the show was kind of a reprisal from 1983 to 1990, known as Mr. Wizard's World.
Mr. Wizard's World,
That's
of course.
It was on Nickelodeon.
Yes.
3 times a week it was on Nickelodeon.
That's
and I
better
remember,
than our schedule.
I remember watching. He would do little science experiments with kids who came on the set, and they were really cool. Like, better than like your just volcano kind of stuff.
Well, now at that time, he must have been getting on in years. Was he ever like kind of crotchety to the kids or anything?
Not that I remember. Well, let's see. He died in 2007. He was 89. So he ran until 90, so 17 years before. He was in his 70s. He was in his early 70s.
Did he and Bill Nye ever appear together?
I don't know. That is a very good question. Bill Nye did say some kind words at his funeral proceeding. I do have some Mr. Wizard trivia, though.
Okay.
February 1st, 1982. He was on the very first show, very second guest, first show though, of Late Night with David Letterman on NBC.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that show.
The first guest was Bill Murray.
Bill Murray, that's
show.
right.
And right after him was Mr.
always
Mr.
wondered
Wizard.
who guest number 2 was.
Now you know.
I know.
You can take that right to the bank.
Yeah.
So anyways, for all our science nerds and geeks out there, our Neil deGrasse Tysons of the world.
Yeah.
You guys are having like a real spank fest out there today.
My God. Neil, has he said anything
I think
about
he
this
has.
thing?
I think he sent out a tweet or two. I think he said something to the effect that the universe doesn't care about us, so it has no feelings for us. So what are we getting all emotional about on this?
What the hell is that?
And he also said something to the effect of, "Oh, the black hole, scientists have seen it and we've got pictures of them. It must be real. But then when scientists say something about global warming, it doesn't align with my beliefs, so it's not real."
Wait a minute. He is he's an astrologer. What do they call the
astrophysicist. That's what I want.
Yeah, he's not a climate change guy.
A physoastrophist, I almost said. What is that? I don't think that's a real profession.
It's a comic book scientist.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to start writing a comic book called The Physoastrophist. Anyways, guys, for our science nerds and geeks, chime in on what you think of that. Give us a line, drop us a line, 904-300-2475. Hopefully we'll see more and more images of black holes, maybe with those Snapchat filters that Ed wants so bad. Moving on to News Thing 1.
News thing number 1.
Yeah, our first story today. Well, actually, let me ask you a question first, and then we'll get into the story
Sure.
on this one. Do you consider yourself more of a cheap, frugal type person, or do you think money should be enjoyed and just kind of
Oh my
spent?
goodness! It's really this is a tough one for me to answer because I believe in both.
Right.
So, for instance, I buy something every day. But I will also spend hours on Amazon to make sure that I get the best deal on whatever I buy.
That's interesting. Interesting. I think you and the story our first story here, that
to save a few pennies.
You and the guy
I make more an hour than the amount of time I spend.
You probably
I'd
do.
save more money virtually if I just buy whatever I saw.
Yeah, this is
on
true.
the spot.
This is true. Yeah, our first story is going to come to us from here in Florida, down in Key West. It's about a guy who you might say is kind of similar to you. He's a little bit of both, you know? He likes to spend the money he hasn't earned lavishly, but he also likes to be cheap when he can be.
Jewish father, Christian mother.
Is that a saying?
No.
You just made that up.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is that going to catch on? Is it we get bumper stickers made of that?
Well,
or
let's
no?
ask this guy.
All right. Well, anyways, this came to us from a Kmart down there in Key West. Did you even know Kmart was still around?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, they are. Apparently, loss prevention officers called police on Saturday, this past Saturday, and provided detectives with surveillance video of a 59-year-old man. His name is Andrew Francis Lippy. He was buying and returning items in a 1-week span there at that Kmart.
Yeah.
Okay? The problem was the items he returned, had their original boxes and packaging, but there were different items inside from what he actually bought.
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, one was a Keurig, one of those coffee makers, and when it came in that big box, but when he brought it back, it had a basketball in there. And so another one, he brought back like a package of light bulbs. For some reason, he said they didn't work. Brought back a bed sheet that had a pillowcase in it, a bed skirt, I guess, that had a pillowcase. So all kinds of weird things that he put the other different items back in the box.
The same box.
Same box that he purchased the items. They had him on camera purchasing these items.
I feel like Mr. Lippy is a little loopy.
Okay.
Lippy.
Well, get this. You would think that this guy's just totally off the rails, right? Well, anyways, he claims that he did not change out any of the items before returning them. He was charged with grand theft and booked into jail. He bailed out the very next day. He was also trespassed from Kmart down there in Key West, so not allowed back there. But here's the plot twist that probably nobody saw coming. Lippy recently, and I mean recently, March 28th, the sale closed on this thing. He bought a private island there in Key West for $8 million. Thompson Island is called. It's a private island with this big mansion on there, and the sale closed for $8 million just about 2 weeks ago.
Now, I don't know how he did it, but he is running quite the scam here.
Yeah, and also, he owns the Real World house where MTV shot the 17th season in 2006.
Hang on, I'm so sorry. My girlfriend just walked. Is everything okay, dear?
Hey.
You see the on-air light outside? Hang on. What's happening here?
We got to press the pause button?
What? Someone's trying to get in the studio? Well, let them in. No, you don't want. You don't think they're supposed to be here? All right, let me.
Hey, folks, we're going to be BRB.
Jeez. And we are back. Well, that was exciting.
Wow, it sure was. I mean, a little late night semi-drama.
Yeah,
here.
I hope everything's okay. So somebody was trying to get into the studio, which is locked outside, and we don't know who it was. They were gone by the time we got up front, but now there's somebody sleeping on the corner of the plaza here.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. I mean, probably a harmless little thing. Hopefully, and again, I was telling Ed's girlfriend there, we have our headphones on for recording as well. So while we're doing the show, we would have had no knowledge of any ruckus out in the other room.
Yeah, which normally, I'm glad not to have any knowledge of what's going on.
But of course, well, anyway, we saw the young lady out to her vehicle. She is safely on her way home. Let us know that the individual was trying to catch a couple Z's down the end of the plaza here. Yeah. So all is well back here at the studio. We are going to resume with our News Thing 1 about this character. Speaking of characters, I mean, this guy. This Lippy character, we just said he bought that island for $8 million, that private island.
Yeah, and like I did not see that coming. You
right.
said that. No, it was a twist. No one saw coming. I did not know it. That this man who was going and returning items that he would buy, replacing the items with other items that had nothing to do with the original item.
But this is funny, okay?
Buys an island out of nowhere.
Well, he bought the island. The sale closed March 28th. They recorded him doing this from March 30th through
return
April
that
5th.
Too?
I don't think you can return
the island.
And I'd mentioned right before your girlfriend had walked in the studio that he owns that Real World house where MTV shot its 17th season in 2006. You know, that thing rents for $999 a night on Airbnb.
Wow.
He
can make his money back.
Yeah, I get, and he's had it for quite a while too. Yeah. I was looking to see, what does this guy do? All I could see, what they mentioned, he was a lawyer.
Now, are these two events connected?
I have no idea. That would be something if somehow they were like he was just some kind of. I mean, they had interviewed him for a story for a paper or magazine in Key West, and he said, I'm glad we found it. We love old homes. He didn't want to go into too much in depth about what was going to do. He said he'll move their family in there. He has a large family, so
laundering objects.
I don't know how this is working. He could be the guy that you're avoiding the prices on Amazon. You wanted a Keurig and you see one up there for 2 or 3 times market value. He's probably that guy.
A mystery wrapped in an enigma.
Yeah, so we're gonna keep an eye on this one. He's due back in court. I had mentioned earlier he must have bonded out on Sunday after he was arrested Saturday, but he's due back in court April 18th. So that's only a week from tomorrow.
Hey, you know what would be crazy?
Yeah,
if they built a Kmart on the island.
That would be great. So off we go, Ed. It is time for the listeners and your favorite segment, Game Time. Of course, Game Time. And it's funny you mentioned, Kmart on the island. Kmart got me thinking because I was first like, oh, wow, it's been forever since I've seen a Kmart. And then I thought, well, you know what? There's a lot of department stores like that with rich histories that we might not know much about.
True.
So I figured we put together a little department store quiz for you today. All right. Gonna have to do with a lot of slogans, a lot of history on these department stores, a lot of things like that. I think you'll have a fairly okay chance at some of these. Some of them are going to be challenging for you, but we'll give it a try. I'm going to start you off fairly easy, I think, for our time period growing up. Kmart, right?
Right.
Used to make an announcement in their store, attention Kmart shoppers.
There's a blue light special.
Blue light special, 1 for 1 right out of the gates, Ed, man. Hopefully the listeners got that one right too. Listeners, do you guys play along with us when we do these game times? I really hope you do. You have some fun with whoever you might be listening, or just keep score by yourself like I used to do when I played Jeopardy.
They had no chance on that one. I just came right out the gate.
I know. They didn't even have time to think about it.
Are you going to explain to them what
the rest of the question was customers would look around the store to look for what, to see what's
the blue lights.
Right, they would have this.
It's like sirens.
Right,
like
sirens. Blue strobe light would kind of flash throughout the store, and they would shoppers would run to this area because something was an Insta sale in that moment. Yeah. I remember being a little kid going there with my grandmother and thinking, oh my God, what's going on? Like, is something happening? And seeing these grown women just running with their shopping carts to try to spend some money is what it was. But yeah, it was a great concept, and it really hung on for quite a while.
And then you get older and you find out the blue lights aren't always good news.
Yeah,
anymore.
They also now restaurants kind of adopted that too later on when they had blue plate specials.
That's right.
That was kind of just their kind of take on that. Kmart. For those of you that may have been born too late or didn't know, Kmart was at one time one of the premier department stores.
Imagine if Amazon had buildings.
Yeah.
That was Kmart.
Yeah, Kmart was huge. It is no longer huge. It still does okay. Apparently, hey, maybe it can take this guy for $8 million plus for.
And Kmart got taken up by Walmart, which sounds like they stole their name.
Yeah, right, exactly. It does, doesn't it? So the guy, Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, was probably like, man, this Kmart, I could put the front half of my name on a mart, and maybe that'll fly. And
I heard that the reason why Walmart was successful is because they bought their buildings and Kmart leased theirs.
Interesting.
Yes.
That is interesting. Well, when you have Sam Walton type money, I think that you could afford to do that.
Yeah, I think he was from Blue Cross Blue Shield is where he made his money.
Is that it? Is that
Blue
true?
is running through all these dudes.
Interesting. Yeah. All right, on to question number 2. Founded in 1858. Stick with this one, Ed, okay? What department store with a star as its logo has a New York City flagship store that covers almost an entire block with 1.1 million square feet of retail space?
Must be the great Macy's.
Correct, Edman. You're coming out of the gates firing today. 2 for 2. The founder's name there was Roland Hussey Macy. The star actually comes from a tattoo he got as a teenager working on a Nantucket whaling ship.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa. So he got this tattoo and he decided to make it Macy's logo. And Macy's now one of the more iconic department stores in the history of the United States.
Did I ever tell the listeners here the story of when I was 4 at a Macy's, and during Christmas, and the Christmas tree there's a guy in the Christmas tree, right? And he's talking to the kids as they go by, and I'm eating ice cream cone, and the guy in the Christmas tree says, "Would you like could I have a lick of your cone?" And I thought, that tree doesn't look like it can move, and I'm sure there's a guy in there. I'd love to see what he would do to try to come over and lick this ice cream cone. And so I took the ice cream cone and I put it out towards him,
right,
for showing that he could come over and get a lick of the cone.
Right.
And everybody laughed at me. Now, years later, I said to my grandparents who were there with me, I said, "Hey, you remember when that dude, I offered him my cone?" And they didn't believe me.
They did not think.
They didn't think I was testing him.
They really thought that you were trying
Actually
to give a fake tree a lick of your ice cream cone.
Which I understand. I mean, I was like 4 years old. I get that.
Again, you were a very sentient being from the very beginning. So
I can remember things from an early age.
Yeah, so
I remember being born. I was so shocked I couldn't talk for a year and a half.
Oh, man, where's the rim shot when you need it?
Old one.
Oldie but a goodie. All right, gang, on to question number 3. Edman, 2 for 2 so far. What 2-word discount retail company slogan is brand names closeout prices, and it also features an orange exclamation mark at the end of its name?
It must be Big Lots.
Wow, Ed, we finally found the quiz that is tailor-made for you. You said you like to spend a lot. You spend a lot and shop. You shop around at all these places.
Right,
Unreal. Yeah. Big Lots it is, folks. Big Lots. You save big, save a lot. A lot of. I feel like people go there and get like a king Serta mattress for like $50.
Yeah,
I don't know what else they sell there, but I know they sell like furniture and stuff that always seems like people are getting amazing deals on furniture there. Right. So I don't know if it's comfortable or not, but I know they do it. 3 for 3. Ed, this might be the first time in the history of Game Time that you've come out 3 for 3. I don't remember another one.
Maybe the Disney quiz?
Oh, yeah, the Disney one you did quite well on. Quite well. Here we go. Question number 4. Operating stores in every state except for Hawaii, what American department store chain trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol KSS?
KSS? And it's a department store?
It is. Very
KSS.
The second S is kind of a trip because I don't know where it comes into play, but
KSS.
Yeah.
Kmart Superstore. I mean, it's not Kmart.
It is not, Edman. Oh. This is Kohl's.
Kohl's. Okay, yeah.
Kohl's.
Would not have guessed.
Maybe
Kohl's.
I don't even know how to stores
spell
or
Kohl's.
something.
Yeah.
KOHL''S.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay,
so Kohl's. Kohl's was the answer there. All right, we're gonna have another stock-related question for number 5. Right, Kohl's is. Question number 5. On December 26th, 2018, shares of this once popular American department store chain fell to under $1 for the first time ever under the ticker symbol JCP.
Oh, well, that's easy. That's JCPenney.
JCPenney, yeah.
They really have been laid low. Huh?
Yeah. Well, under $1. Well, I just out of curiosity, I checked their current stock price. So what are we? 4 months later now? Almost 4 months later, they're at $1.26.
Well, that's 26% interest.
So I mean, yeah, if you bought in under that $1 price, you're really raking the benefits.
Feeling good.
That seems like a store that could make a comeback. I don't know. JCPenney seems like a respected name.
Well, Kmart still hasn't really bounced back.
Yeah, this is true.
There, so.
This is true. That JCPenney was founded in 1902. This is crazy. Anyways, question number 6. The second tallest building in the United States is named for what recently declining chain of department store?
This is Sears Tower and Sears.
Boy, Ed, man, you are on it tonight. What did you eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner?
Not doing so great either.
Yeah, Sears. Well, it's actually renamed in 2009. It was renamed the Willis Tower, but everybody still calls it the Sears Tower.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Willis Group bought that over. Second tallest building now to the rebuilt World Trade Center in 2014. Wow. That took it over. But yeah, Sears Tower, they were
second tallest in the U.S.
In the U.S., not in the world. I believe it's like 15th or 16th in the world. world. So still pretty darn big. Yeah. I know they have some big buildings in like Dubai, I think the tallest one in the world is in Dubai.
I think you're
if
right.
I'm not mistaken. All right, here we go. Question number 7. Formerly known for selling coats, what New Jersey-based off-price retailer's logo replaces the B that starts its name with a heart?
B that starts its name with a heart.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing I can think of that even starts with a B is Bell's, Beals, whatever the name of that thing is.
Incorrect, Ed.
No.
They used to be called Burlington Coat Factory.
Oh, Burlington. I used to hang out there.
And
I used to
did
go
you
there all
really?
the time, dude. Yeah.
Now they're only called
I
Burlington.
love Burlington Coat
I had no
Factory.
idea what this was about, but it actually was founded in a town in New Jersey called Burlington. So
Makes
that
perfect
Burlington
sense.
Coat Factory, just simple. I was
Yeah.
like, where the hell? Because I know I'm from up in the Northeast, and I know there was a Burlington, Vermont.
Yeah.
and I knew it didn't exist there. So I
I
was
always
kind
thought
of
it
like,
was founded by like John Burlington.
right. That's what you
know,
take the last name, right? Well, anyways, its logo, the B is an actual heart, and I guess they
that's
do
dumb.
a lot of charitable, heart charity work, something like that. But anyways, we're going to question number 8. Ed, you still only missed 2 questions so far, so you are having a good game time
Good,
today.
good.
Founded in 1976, what department store's slogan is "Get the max for the minimum"?
That's got to be TJ Maxx.
It's gotta be. You are correct. TJ Maxx. Yeah, TJ Maxx always had some good finds. You'd have to spend a couple hours, kind of like you with Amazon. But if you could dig your heels in and put in the work, you could find some good, good stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that with all those stores,
It is.
Ross
All
and
these places
TJ
have got,
Maxx,
like
and
hidden,
hidden
treasures.
gems.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you come out of there, you spent $100, and you got a whole new wardrobe.
Right.
Okay, number 9. Multiple choice. Well, it's not a multiple choice. It's just, it is a multiple choice. I've given you three names here. You got to give me the correct answer. Out of Dollar Tree, Dollar General, or Family Dollar. Which of the 3 uses the slogan, "Everything's $1"?
Oh God.
That was my
One's like
favorite.
everything's $1, everything's $1.
Take everything for $1 or less.
Yeah,
no, this was my favorite question to write because I was like, man, you really got to be a fan of these places.
All right. What's the slogan again?
Everything's $1.
Okay. And what are the
Dollar Tree,
Yes.
Dollar General, or Family Dollar?
Everything's $1.
Yep.
Everything's $1. Well, I'm gonna say, let's map this out scientifically. Everything's $1. Dollar General, to me, sounds like they're trying to use weasel words to basically tell you, well, not everything is $1. Generally, So
interesting.
I'm gonna say it's not Dollar General.
Okay.
Am I right so far?
You are. You're down
good,
to
good,
2
okay.
answers
So
left.
we have
yeah.
Family Dollar, we have Family and Dollar Tree.
Correct.
Okay, all right, let's try this one. So Family Dollar may also be using weasel words, because they're saying Family Dollar, everything's in, about the family of money,
Right.
including $1. So that's always possible. Let's see, in Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, everything's $1. I would say everything is $1. Like the whole universe revolves around $1.
Mm-hmm.
Family Dollar, Dollar Tree. To me, Dollar Tree sounds purer, like you probably are getting things for $1. So I'm going to go with Dollar Tree.
Wow, Ed, what a poll you had there. Dollar Tree is correct.
Wow.
And it's like money doesn't grow on trees, but in this case it does. You're pulling off every leaf as $1.
$1.
And I guess everything's $1, but some things are even less. I think some things in there might even be 50 or 75 cents, but it's $1 or less for everything in Dollar Tree.
That would suck to you. Go to one of these places and you're like, man, everything's so cheap. But then like some things like an eraser that should be like 50 cents, they still charge you $1. Maybe that's how they make their money.
It could be. You're right. You're right, but that
they
was
overcharge you on enough stuff.
I knew
That's $1.
See, if I had gotten that question and didn't know, I would have been able to get it down to 2 as well, because I have been in Family Dollar before and I know that I've bought things that were above $1 in there. So I would have been able to dismiss that one, but Dollar Tree and Dollar General I would have been a little torn on. So anyways, Ed, wow, you got another one right. You have hit 7 out of 9. We've got 1 question left to this game time.
Oh God, there's another one. Okay.
What off-price department store starting with an M as in Michael or Matt, uses the slogan, "Never boring, always surprising"?
What?
Yeah, that's a slogan. Never boring, always surprising. Kind of another one of these stores like a TJ Maxx or a Ross where, you know what, you could surprise yourself and find some good stuff in this place.
Never boring, always surprising.
Yep.
And this is a department store.
Correct.
Never boring, always surprising. I can't even think of a place that starts with an M right now. Maybe there's a place over on Atlantic, and I walked by it, and they were like one of those big lot type stores, but I can't remember the name of it. Starts with an M. Isn't there? I think it's an art supply store. Isn't there a store called Michelle's?
Michael's is an art supply store.
Michael's.
Yeah.
That's
but
what
I
I'm
wanted to
thinking
give you Michael's as a clue if that was the answer.
Okay. So, all right, here, give me the question again.
Well, off-price department stores, starting with the letter M, uses the slogan, never boring, always surprising.
All right, since I don't know the answer,
Right.
I'm going to have to imagine that I am going to create a department store,
Mm-hmm.
and my slogan for the department store is never boring, always surprising. I would say that the department store with that slogan
Yeah.
would be named More.
Oh, man, that was a great guess. It's actually Marshall's.
Oh, Marshalls! I should have known Marshalls.
Yeah, but Edman, one of your better performances in
bad,
Game Time in a
not so
while.
bad.
7 out of 10. Did you
Yeah,
at home,
70%.
you listeners, beat the Edman, or were you right there with him, or did you really flunk or ace this one? Let us know. 904-300-2475. Off we go, Ed. News thing number 2.
News thing number 2.
Now this one, as an aside here,
Yeah.
you could really set up a nice wedding registry at any of those last places we just talked about in Game Time.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be bad. And wedding season is coming up. I mean, we're getting to that point of year. I've been invited to 2, one next month in May and one in October.
Wow.
So I will be breaking out the old leisure suit and headed to a few weddings.
Now, are you going to be the best man at any?
I am not. I'm not in, and that's even better when you don't have to be a groomsman. You don't have to spend any money or coordinate
Just
anything.
crashing it?
You just go. Well, I mean, I do have a valid invite. Wedding Crashers, Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn.
Now, have you been a best man at
I have a couple
nice.
a couple times. I've
Several
given a
You
speech
seem
a couple
to me
times.
like
yeah.
someone who'd be a perennial best man.
Not perennial though. I gave a speech at my best friend's wedding, even though I wasn't technically the best man, and then I was best man for my youngest brother's wedding as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was it. But I've been groomsman in several others, and yeah.
Now, how many? Say you have a younger brother. Do you have any other brothers?
I have 2 younger brothers. Yeah.
Now, was one of the brothers upset that they were not the best man?
No, he wasn't, because he kind of tortured our youngest brother a lot
okay.
growing up, where I was kind of nurturing and nicer to the
so
kids.
He
so
lost out.
Yeah, he knew he had he wasn't in the running. He wasn't in the field. So anyways, with that being said, Ed, I want to talk about a Reddit thread.
I wasn't the best man at my brother's wedding.
You weren't?
No.
Well,
It
my
was
other
like some bum.
this guy sleeping down at the end of the
Yeah,
plaza.
it might be him.
He came to get his invite to the next wedding. Anyways, Ed, I want to talk about this Reddit thread that originally posted about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to need you to pull up this Reddit thread for me so you can read this, because it was a little long for me to actually write out and read. I
okay.
figured it's easier for us to read it. So it's on the forum AITA, which is Am I the Asshole? Okay, it's a Reddit forum where people go on there and ask users if they are the asshole or not. It is
real.
It is the user. It's the user wedding. No.
Oh, Reddit is down for maintenance.
Wait a minute. Maybe
That's
that one
too
clip.
bad.
Put in. Here's the story. User wedding throwaway 1232. That's her name. It's all one word. Wedding throwaway. Wedding throw away 1232.
This keyboard's broken.
Well, I think it's working fine, man. I think your fingers are kind of off. You didn't put the 1232. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Find the Reddit about, let's see, wedding throwaway. Oh no, Reddit is
Reddit
certainly
is
down. So
for
I'm gonna,
maintenance.
guys, we're gonna have to do this one kind of from memory here.
I thought computers just took care of themselves.
Yeah, what the hell? I mean, they don't think Redditors are like, this is their witching hour right now,
Let's see
right?
if we can look at a cache of it.
Oh, maybe you got it. Maybe you got it. Let me see. Hold on. Yes, this is the one. This is the story I wanted to talk about. But can I actually see her original post? What happened? This user, wedding throwaway 1232, asked if she was the asshole for asking my wedding guest to leave for
wearing his military uniform at my wedding.
Correct. Apparently, this Reddit forum, based on user votes, gives you a distinction of either being an asshole, not the asshole, or everyone sucks, where both of you are in the wrong. And this girl apparently got an everyone sucks.
Well, this person, the first comment I'm seeing says YTA, which I'm assuming means you're the asshole.
Correct. Yeah, you're already caught on. We should sign up and be members.
You mentioned that he should have worn something else because he has a wealthy family. What a fucky and ignorant comment.
Is that what he said?
That's what he's saying. Hope you had a great wedding. It was all about you.
Okay, well, apparently we can't read her original post, or we can, Edman. Can we read her full original post?
That's it right there. Oh, the full thing? Is there more to it?
Yeah. I guess we can't read the actual full post. I'm going to click on it.
Oh, it's
down for maintenance. Okay. So they really screwed us good on this. Well, anyways, I read it. Basically what she said, she invited a bunch of people. It was a black tie optional wedding. She invited, a big group. There were about 300 people there. And this one guy, it was a friend of her husband's son or something to that effect. He came in his full military dress.
Right.
His full military dress.
Right.
And she was, she said he behaved totally fine, as would be expected from a military man at the wedding. But seems to be taking appreciation of the attention he was getting for wearing his full medals and everything, by the way, was what this guy wore. So, people were taking pictures with him and, commenting on, oh my God, look at this American hero here. Yeah. She felt it kind of was taking away from what was, I guess rightfully her day, right? I mean, brides are typically very sensitive to this. They don't want a bridesmaid up showing them or anything like that. So she did. She asked him to leave because she felt like it was a distraction. And then she went on this Reddit board and asked for the opinions. I think the very first commenter in on this was a military man himself. And he actually said they both were probably in the wrong. In that case, military rules do allow you to wear your dress, I guess, your military dress. But I think unless it's a military wedding, it's kind of frowned upon, is what I was gathering from this. Right. So I guess my question to you and the listeners was, where do you fall on something like this? What would your take be on this?
Personally, so to me, I've always had it in my own head that a military dress uniform was equivalent to a black tie sort of a thing. So I always, in my head, it's kind of the same thing. So for me personally, I wouldn't have minded. Yep. And, I mean, it's not the man's fault and he's got a lot of medals. I mean, it's probably a good thing, right? So to me, I wouldn't have cared, but I can understand if she said explicitly, wear this, and he's not wearing that, right. I could see getting upset about it. So, I mean,
it could go either way, right?
I probably myself wouldn't marry somebody like that.
I was going to say, if you were marrying this girl and she said, that's it, I'm kicking him out, I would be like, wait a minute.
Come on.
Yeah. Let's not ruin the day. Exactly.
This. Yeah, he's going to see, let him see it. We invited him. He cared enough to invite him, right?
And he cared enough to go, to attend, right?
And to wear all of his heavy medals. Yeah. And things, right? So,
well, I have several friends that are military. In fact, the brother that I was best man at the wedding served 12 years in the Marines.
Yeah.
So I want to ask him, and I'll say it. I'll ask him during the week, and I'll give his response on the air, as well as my other friends. But I can tell you from past experiences, a lot of days, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, things like that, restaurants will give free meals to people in military, people in gear, or who show their IDs and things like that. Yeah. Well, my friends are really, really dead set against it. They think it's kind of like very tacky. It's kind of, I don't know, like they get very embarrassed in a way about it. I think older people who have served and have been out a while really appreciate it, as well they should. I mean, these people put their lives on the line for us and our country, and it's amazing. However, I think that newer generation people are still there for the most part. A lot of them feel like it's I don't know, a simple thank you would do. They don't need a big hullabaloo made about it. Sense, so I'm going to ask a couple of my really, really good friends that are still active military, and also my brother who just got out recently, and see where they would stand on something like that. I can almost guarantee they would say, this guy was kind of acting like a little doofus.
If I could get a little philosophical here.
Absolutely, Ed, man. Okay. I know you've got a lot going on in that ticker of yours.
Now, picture this, right? A man is crossing the street.
Right.
And a car comes by and hits the man, okay?
Correct.
Now, what is the difference between whether the driver gets put away for the rest of his life, or if the driver gets off and it's just ruled an accident, nothing happens, right? It's the intention, right?
Right.
So if the person who is driving the car sees somebody that they didn't like and murderously hunted them down, knew they were going to cross the street at that time, and runs them over and kills them, that's a murder charge.
Right.
But if somebody was being fully responsible and it was dark outside, maybe the person's wearing dark clothes, it hits them, and it was an accident, right? They didn't do it on purpose, right? It's the intention that's different, right? So we can't really tell who's the asshole here unless we can peer into their minds.
I gotcha.
And if the military man looking at the invitation saying, please wear a black, tie, and thinks to himself, well, I could do that, or I could wear this uniform
and I'll stand
and I could
out,
show off.
I wonder if he went stag and was thinking, well, you know what, I could probably pick up quite a few women and bridesmaids at this thing.
And now in that case, then he would be the asshole because he's doing it just to make a show of himself.
And I don't know if that's the case. I'm just kind of spitballing here.
Or now what if he says, oh my God, I'm late. I don't have what she's wanting here, but I want to attend the wedding. I think these guys are
just
great.
Pressed here,
and I have this, and this is accepted dress everywhere. I'll just go in this, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And he thought nothing of it.
Yep.
Then he's not the asshole.
Well, I can't even get on there to ask her if she'd like to come on the News Freaks and talk about it a little bit. They've closed that forum. It got like 2,200 comments on it.
Now, why would they
close it? To new comments? I guess the people were getting kind of
maybe that's why they're down for maintenance because they can't handle a lot of comments.
What has happened to
sucks,
Reddit?
Huh?
I mean, there are some good things about it. For any sports fans out there, their sports streaming is pretty on point. Yeah, you can watch pretty much anything through the Reddit streams.
Well, so far I'm not impressed with Reddit.
Well, I'm not either. I see that little alien that they have for the mascot or robot or whatever that thing is just popping up on our screen. Look at he looks smug as hell.
I know. Hit
that again. Hit it one more time. Hit the Reddit.
I'd rather have the mascot.
Look at him. He's smiling. He's smiling. Reddit is down for maintenance. And then there's a video, a downtime banana or something, where he's just on a tabletop with a banana peel.
I mean, Burlington Coat Factory has a better logo than these guys do.
Yeah, they really do. So anyways, for the listeners at home, give us your feedback on that, 904-300-2475. Let us know where you stand on something like that, and we'll try to get some more answers through our inside sources as well.
We might be in some trouble because is Reddit one of those forums that will dox people? We just talk some trash about Reddit. What if the Redditors come after us?
I talked very good things about Reddit. It was the Edman at the News Freaks that talked some trash.
Oh, crap.
Off we go at our final segment tonight, as always, Random Facts.
Random Facts.
Yeah, Random Facts. April 10th is our date today. Good day. Well, not a good day for some people, but a good day in history for Random Facts anyways. Yeah. We'll start April 10th, 1912. The RMS Titanic sets sail from Southampton, England on its maiden and only voyage.
What did RMS stand for?
Oh, man, Royal Mary Scots, something like that. And that's a guess. I really don't know. That was the first thing that popped in my head. It may or may not be correct. Edman's hot on the case there. Of the estimated 2,224 passengers and crew on board, it says estimated, but that's a pretty pretty specific number, if you ask me. More than 1,500 died. It was headed to New York City, as we all know. It hit an iceberg on April 14th at about 11:30 at night. About 2 hours and 40 minutes later, it had broken into and sank. What does RMS stand for? It doesn't tell you?
I'm sure it
was right below what you just had up.
Did you know that there was, oh gosh, if I can remember the name of this book, somebody had written a book about the Titanic, and it was called like the Behemoth or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, but it foretold about the Titanic. It had like almost the same number of lifeboats, almost the same size, all this stuff. But the thing was, it was written about 50 years before.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember something about that as well. I remember hearing something about that. Little Nostradamus-like.
Yeah.
Anyways, the wreck was discovered in 1985 during a U.S. military mission, and it still remains on the seabed. It's gradually disintegrating at a depth of about 12,400 feet. The last survivor of the sinking passed away in 2009. Her name was Milvina Dean. She was 2 months old at the time. Oh, the Ed Man's pulling it up now. There was a book written about the Titanic 14 years before it sank. Oh, wait, are you finding this? Oh, I thought you were finding this on Reddit. I said, well, perfect time, and they're listening to our show. They didn't want us to have a segment, the last one, but no, this is a different site. Anyways, yeah, of course, we all know the iconic movie Titanic with Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. Everybody knows that one. Billy Zane played a great bad guy in that one.
The ending of that movie has always irked me.
Okay,
so badly.
Continue.
For a couple of reasons.
Yeah,
First of all, they couldn't share the
Well,
thing
everybody says that. Of course, that there was enough room for two.
Yeah,
I think
I get that.
Yeah.
Now the thing that really bothers me though is that the lady, it was Rose.
Correct. It was Rose. Yeah.
Okay. So at the end of it, she's got a daughter. Okay, and the daughter and her friend or whatever need funding for their thing. She takes the diamond,
the precious, rare diamond,
and chucks it in the ocean.
Correct. Yeah.
Why didn't she sell that for funding for the daughter? Then it at least would have gone to some good use.
Yeah,
she's senile.
I'm with you.
And then the last thing that irks me that I can think of right now in this movie is that she dies. Right? I picture her going to heaven, and remember she joins that dude. But the thing is, she was married. Would she just bypass the first husband and go straight to jerk off that she was seeing like on a little
lark on a cruise ship? Well, sometimes your first, what you consider to be your true love, sometimes it doesn't always end up being the one you marry, Ed. You know that?
I mean, sometimes even remember the first.
Well, anyways, I remember two things about Titanic that are kind of funny in my past. Number one, I've probably seen that movie maybe, I don't know, a total of 3 or 4 times maybe in my life. And I just remember always only being able to remember the scene where they're boinking off the propeller as they're like falling into the ocean. I don't know why that always stuck with me so much.
Sucks.
It does suck. I mean, I remember other parts of it. You know, the steamy sex in the car is after he was painting her. I mean, he really landed her with that one.
The name of the book is The Wreck of the Titan.
Okay.
Or Futility.
The wreck of the Titan. That's pretty impressive.
That's the kind of thing that makes the hair stand up
does.
On end there.
One last note on this one, too.
An RMS.
A Royal Mail ship.
Yeah.
What did I say? A Royal...
I don't remember, but it was close.
I did say Royal something ship. Royal Mary Scott or something. Okay. Anyways, one last note. I remember I was in a movie prior to Titanic being released, and it was one of the previews, and I told my buddies that I was with, oh my God, that thing is going to be such a bomb. Like, I thought it looked so stupid. I thought, and my friends to this day still say, Terry, remember that time you predicted the Titanic was going to be a bomb, and it turned out to be one of the most wildly successful movies ever.
You're a reincarnation of the person who said the Titanic was unsinkable.
Yeah, I said that the Titanic was indeed sinkable, and that movie was not. It still lives on today. 1916, a couple years later, the Professional Golfers Association of America, better known as the PGA, was founded. And I know you're not a sports fan, Ed, but big week in golf starting tomorrow morning.
Oh, really?
The Masters is this week, one of their first of their 4 majors.
Yeah.
Huge tournament held in Augusta, Georgia, at the Augusta National Golf Club there. Last year's Masters champ Patrick Reed trying to defend his crown, but all the big guns of golf are going to be there, including Tiger Woods. I know a big portion of the population rooting for Tiger to reclaim that green jacket.
Rooting for Tiger. Let me ask you, though. Do you know anything about Tiger Woods?
I do.
How has he been doing?
He's been doing great. Actually, he's making he's had a renaissance of sorts. He's moved up the ranks, and I think might be ranked top 10, top 15 back in the.
That's pretty good.
There was a
after all
time
these
he
years.
was like in the 200s. He had slipped that far.
Wow.
He had back surgeries. He couldn't play for a year or two. Yeah. He, of course, had the scandal with his wife and cheating on
I remember a while back he said, "Well, I've changed my swing.
Yeah.
So of course I'm going to go down a little bit." And then, like 10 years later, so he was still down. I was like, "Man, that swing's taking a long time."
Yeah,
that swing is taking a long time.
Well, when you reach a certain age, too. I mean, he's around my age. I think he's the young 40s now at this point.
He's still fine.
It's good.
These golf
They can
people
still
play forever.
They can still play.
Now, how close is he to the top records? Because everyone's been like, well, he's only like 2 or 3 away from breaking all these records.
I think
he's been there for like 15 years.
He's been stuck on those majors for a while. I don't know how many he had. It's single digits where he would take over the major. But majors, there's only 4 a year. There are 4 of golf's biggest tournaments. You've got your Masters, your PGA Championship, U.S. Open, and British Open. Those are the 4 majors.
Right.
They call the one we have here in Ponte Vedra actually the 5th major, the Players Championship, which we just had a few weeks ago.
Now, as far as you know, sponsorship, has Tiger Woods licensed his name to any golf clubs?
He has his own line.
Does he use
TW? Not of golf clubs. He has a TW line. His TW line for golf clothing and things like that. I don't know what. I think he still uses Nike clubs unless he changed from them. I'm not sure.
Nike makes clubs?
I believe so. Yeah, Nike. Yeah.
You know, when I went to get my glasses,
Maybe
I
they
looked
don't.
at some
Who knows?
frames and they had the Nike logos on them.
You know
and
what?
They had them on the fake lenses.
I just
there.
watched a documentary and a guy was wearing glasses with Nike frames, and I said, "Wait a minute! I didn't know Nike had a line of glasses."
And I said to them, if I get the frames, people aren't going to know they're Nike frames, and they look really close at them. Can I get the Nike logo put on the lenses? And they told me no.
You were fishing on that one. But anyways, they call the Masters a tradition unlike any other. Jim Nantz, the iconic announcer there, a tradition unlike any
I
other.
like that because it doesn't claim good or bad.
Right, this is true. Well, it had the Augusta National Golf Club has not really had a great reputation. They didn't allow, and I still don't even know if they do, black members or women members.
Wait, can Tiger play there?
Well, he can, but I don't.
He just can't join.
Well, this may have changed just a couple years ago,
I
but it was
would hope
very.
so.
But this was a good old boys club to be sure.
Jeez.
They actually had, for the first time ever, last week, they had a women's amateur tournament of some sort held at Augusta, and that was the first year they've ever done it in the week before the men's major tournament. Yeah. So anyways, for you golf fans out there, I'm kind of leaning towards Dustin Johnson, maybe Ricky Fowler, maybe Rory. Those are my favorites.
Maybe Tiger Woods could get the other black players and form their own club, and then the two of them could invite whoever they want.
Well, who knows? Oh, my God. One more quick thing about the Masters. Remember I told you a couple weeks ago, and I don't even know if I mentioned this on the air on any of the episodes, where I had a chance encounter with a gentleman named Lanny Wiles? We were out at a sports bar. We were watching golf, and I met this guy, and at the end of our conversation, he said, "Well, Terry, it was really nice meeting you and talking to you." We did talk golf. We were actually watching golf, and he said, "Oh, by the way, I'll leave you with this," and he shows me on his phone this story from last month's Golf Magazine, I believe the February issue of this year, and it said Lanny Wiles was supposed to play at Augusta, but then he became part of a hostage situation.
Oh, my God.
And so he left me with that, and I said, "Holy smokes, I just met this guy who has an incredible story." So, of course, I read up on it,
right.
And it turns out this guy used to work for Ronald Reagan. He's a big political gun here in Florida, and I believe still is. I don't know for fact, but he actually was there while Ronald Reagan was playing one of his very few rounds of golf that Reagan ever played while in the White House. I think Reagan might have played, he liked golf, but I think he played maybe 10 rounds total the whole time he was there. But he was at Augusta playing the the course there, and Lanny Wiles was supposed to play with him or in a group behind him or something. Something came up where they went to the clubhouse to get a shirt or get something, and this guy had lost his job and was drunk and came in and held this clubhouse hostage. And this guy was held hostage as part of this, but he actually worked on John McCain's campaign years ago, which we'll be talking about McCain later in Random Facts as well. But yeah, he's such an interesting story.
Get him on the show. Did he sell an island recently?
No, he didn't. His wife was actually the leader of Trump's campaign here for the Republican Party here in Florida. His daughter worked in the Trump White House. Yeah. So there was interesting things. I'm going to try to contact him and see if we can't get him on here. But it was just kind of a funny aside, about that. But it is a great golf tournament if you like golf and you like kind of history and things like that. It comes off a little pompous, I admit, to a lot of people, but I do enjoy watching it and I enjoy following who's going to do well in that. So moving on, we got another sports-related story from 1947. Brooklyn Dodgers president Branch Rickey announced that he purchased the contract of Jackie Robinson from the Montreal Royals, paving
that's probably a bad deal.
Oh, it was a great deal. It paved the way for Robinson to break baseball's color barrier.
Oh, I thought you meant like now.
Oh, the Montreal. Yeah, that would have been a bad deal now.
Yeah, okay, that was a great deal.
This was in 1947. Jackie Robinson, 5 days later, April.
I forgot we were doing stuff in the past. Sorry.
April 50th. Yeah, Edman is not really sports aficionado, everybody. April 15th, 1947. So that was 5 days later. Jackie Robinson did break the color barrier. He started a game at first base for the Dodgers. Yeah, he had an amazing career, and he started at age 28, which is really late for athletes of any type to start a career. He won Rookie of the Year the very first year he was in there. Well, obviously he was a rookie. Won the National League MVP 1949, so just a few years later. Played in 6 World Series, winning in 1955. First ballot Hall of Famer in 1962. His number 42 was retired throughout the sport of baseball. That means nobody else can ever wear that number. That was in 2004. And since 2004, there's a day, April 15th, they call Jackie Robinson Day. Everybody in baseball wears that number 42 in Robinson for the whole day across the whole league.
That's pretty cool.
To honor the story of Jackie Robinson, who changed the lives and careers of so many men in the past, 80, 90 years here, right? 1992, our next random fact. So we're moving up in time a little bit. Financier Charles Keating Jr. Yeah, remember that name?
Charles Keating Jr. Are they Keating Five?
Yes, we're going to talk a little bit about the Keating Five. You know about this,
yes,
man.
I do.
Very surprised. Yeah. But anyways, on this day, April 10th, 92, he was sentenced in L.A. to 9 years in prison for swindling investors of the Lincoln Savings and Loan Association, which went bankrupt 3 years earlier in 1989. Nearly 23,000 customers were left with worthless bonds, lost entire life savings, which Keating's company, they had convinced customers, I guess, to purchase other stocks and bonds of companies that had no solvent backing. So they kind of were bamboozling these people. Yeah. And then they went under. Well, the reason we were just talking about the Keating Five, the scandal led to the discovery of them. They were 5 U.S. senators who were paid nearly $1.5 million by Keating's company to intervene and block a regulatory investigation by the Federal Home Loan Bank Board. So the board, they were hot on the heels of this Lincoln loan and savings here, but the board did back off, and obviously it had disastrous results, and it was due in large part to the actions of these 5 U.S. senators. So the senators were 4 Democrats and a Republican, and I already gave a little clue. The Republican was John McCain.
Yeah, he's basically a Democrat.
Okay, there you go. Alan Cranston, a Democrat from California, Dennis DeConcini from Arizona, Donald Regal from Michigan, and John Glenn, the Democrat from Ohio, the old astronaut John Glenn. They were the Keating Five. They came under big scrutiny and big investigation. The Senate Ethics Committee took a look at all of them. They determined the first 3 substantially and improperly interfered, while Glenn and McCain were cleared of having acted improperly, but they were cited for having exercised, quote, poor judgment.
And wasn't one of the president's sons involved in that? Was it Neil? Was it Bush? Neil Prescott?
That's a good question. I do not know.
Or was it one of Ronald Reagan's
You
kids?
could be right. I'd have to look more into that. Anyways, Keating ended up serving 4.5 years of that sentence. The conviction was eventually overturned, and he lived the rest of his life doing some low-level real estate kind of work until his death in 2014. The funny thing about this, well, maybe not so funny, John McCain was actually became really, really close personal friends with Charles Keating. He took many, many trips for free, vacationed for free.
That's not surprising.
And he actually only tried to pay him back for this after the news of this came out. He tried to write him a check for like $13,000-$20,000, somewhere in that range. Yeah. So it definitely seemed like there was some kind of shenanigans going on.
Yeah.
But anyways, none of them, they all served out the rest of their terms, which kind of, nothing really changes, right? The more, the more things change, the more they stay the same, exactly. I guess is the quote. So anyways, yeah, that was the Keating Five. I'm impressed you knew that, because I had no clue that was a thing before I looked this up. So we got one more random fact to close out the show, and this one was kind of a sad one. In 1992, Sam Kinison passed away on April 10th of 92.
That was a terrible day.
Yeah, he was. Every time we look at these,
the joke is his last words were ah.
Well, that is not bad. I've never heard that one before. For those of you that don't know, again, we have younger listeners. This guy was known for a act that was kind of primal screaming and just a high energy kind of thing, and that was his big thing. Ow, 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 ow! Kind of a thing to get the crowd. He was only 38 when this happened.
That is amazing.
See, this is so weird when we look back on these stories.
Because back then he seemed so old and run down.
He did look old because he had quite the cocaine and alcohol habit. So he did age a lot. Like, he did not look like he was 38. You guys can look him up if you're not familiar. If you are, you did know what his act was about. He actually was a Pentecostal pastor before getting into comedy.
That's crazy.
I mean, he could command a room. That was no doubt about that. Yeah. Well, anyways, it was crazy how he actually, how this accident actually happened.
I wonder if that sound came from that.
I don't know.
Because I hear they speak in tongues. The Pentecostals.
Oh, maybe, possibly. Well, he was involved on this April 10th, 92, in a head-on collision in California with a 17-year-old driver who had been drinking.
Yeah.
The kid, he was driving a pickup truck, hit him. At the time, Kinison was on his way to a sold-out show in Nevada.
Oh my!
So he's driving to that. Again, like I mentioned before, he did have a huge appetite for drugs and alcohol. Although I don't know if anything was found in his system, because it was clear the other kid had kind of crossed over into their lane.
Right.
A van of his brother and friends were following behind Kinison when this accident happened. They pulled him out of the vehicle. They held their hands under his head, and they initially thought nothing serious had happened,
right?
Because he was just kind of coherent and whatever.
Yeah.
But within a few minutes of getting him on the ground, Kinison said to seemingly nobody in particular, "I don't want to die."
Wow.
Okay, his best friend, his name was Carl LeBove, later said in interviews, it was like he was having a conversation with some unseen person or something.
Wow.
So there was a pause, and Kinison was listening, like almost like he was listening.
Yeah.
And then he asked, "But why?" Nobody was talking to him. He was just, he was having this one-way conversation, which is kind of, again, makes the hair on your arms stand up a little bit. After another short pause, Kinison then just said 3, and this is funny, because you said, "Oh, oh, oh."
Yeah.
He said 3, okay, like kind of like that. And the last one was just like short, peaceful, kind of resigned, and he literally lost consciousness at that point and never regained. He died like a minute later.
That is nuts.
Nuts, right? I had no idea this story. In fact,
Yeah.
I thought Sam Kinison, and I think he did this earlier in his life, but I thought he drove into like a building and died.
I did too.
But he did this.
Drove into
I guess
wall.
he did this earlier in his life that it actually happened when he was high on drugs or something like that. But again, he died at the scene from multiple internal injuries. He had a dislocation of his spine, torn aorta, torn blood vessels in his abdominal cavity, which that's what really killed him within minutes. But it was so weird how that played out, and everybody who was there says the same story. So I don't think it's bullshit or folklore. I think that really did happen. Another interesting part of this that I didn't know: his wife of only 6 days, Malika, was in the car with him as well.
Yeah.
And she was unconscious from the start, but she only ended up suffering like a minor concussion. So she was totally fine. Now the driver, again, that 17-year-old kid, he ended up pleading guilty to vehicular manslaughter. He only got a year probation, 300 hours community service, and his license suspended for 2 years.
Because he didn't mean to do it.
And that was, I almost hinted as you were telling that other story. It was kind of weird. But anyways, 2 last notes on Mr. Kinison here. He is buried in Tulsa, Oklahoma. His gravestone has a unattributed quote that says, "In another time and place, he would have been called prophet." Which I find interesting. I'm going to leave you with a Sam Kinison. Yeah, unreal, right? Leave you with a Sam Kinison joke for those of you that didn't know what he's about. I've always liked this Kinison joke. He said, "I called a detox center just to see how much it would cost. It's $13,000 for 3 weeks. My friends, if you can come up with 13 grand, you don't have a problem yet." Okay, and that is. I mean, there's some sage advice in that, I think. But anyways, guys, that is going to be our show for today. Hope everybody enjoyed themselves. Hope you had a good time. Hope you learned some nuggets. Share us with your friends and your family and your exes and people you like and dislike. Everybody should be listening to the News Freaks, and share just how bad Reddit is too. They're always down for maintenance.
I can't believe it.
We're only kidding. We love you, Reddit. Anyways, guys, as we said before, drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. We love the feedback we've been getting so far. 904-300-2475. Check out our Facebook, The News Freaks, our Twitter at News Freaks Pod, and the website, of course, all one word, thenewsfreaks.com.
Reddit's up now, but the show's ended. So
Oh
I guess
my
we'll just
God,
have
the
to
full
read it
story
all
accessible.
there.
They're sabotaging us. They're sabotaging us. Anyways, guys, hopefully everybody has a good rest of the week. Be good, be safe, and we will catch you next time. For the Ed Man, I'm Terry.
I'm the Ed Man. We are the News Freaks.
Did I just give you your play out? No, okay. For Terry, I'm the Ed Man. Wait a minute, now I'm confused.
All right, we'll see ya.
See ya.